Just mute your audio. Okay, mute your audio, please. Okay, fine. Next, Adarsh Shinde. Adarsh
Present.
Shinde.
Present, sir.
Okay, right. Ankita Hattiholi.
Present, sir.
Okay. Chandrasekhar Pattar.
Yes, sir.
Right. Harshagowda R. Patil. Harshagowda R. Patil. Janvi Udayaraj Kanninaikar.
Present, sir.
Okay. Just all of you have to mute your audio and video, right? Whenever I call your attendance, you have to turn on your video and audio and say yes. Okay, for a while. Mahadev Odier, just
Present, sir.
Vivek Goni, mute your video. Vivek Goni, mute your video. Okay. Mahadev Odier, Mahadev,
Present, sir.
turn on your video for a
Present,
while.
sir.
Show your face quickly. Okay, right. Mohammad Mazhar, Mohammad Mazhar.
Present, sir.
Okay, fine. N. Kirti Patil. N. Kirti Patil.
Present, sir. Present, sir.
Okay, turn on your video for a while. Turn on your video for a while, quickly. Video.
Present, sir.
Okay. Rikesh S. Lamani. Rikesh S. Lamani. Prajwal Gowda Malagaudar. Prajwal Gowda Malagaudar.
Present, sir.
Turn on. Okay, fine. Ramesh Vadwadigi. Ramesh Vadwadigi.
Present, sir.
Turn on your video for a while, quickly.
Present, sir.
Okay, right. Ratan Lakshman Birje. Ratan Lakshman Birje.
Present, sir.
Okay. Rohan Timsani. Rohan Timsani.
Present, sir.
Right. Turn on your video for a while, quickly. Rohan.
Present.
Rohan. Video for a second. Rutik Chopde. Rutik. Rutvik Vinay Gune. Rutvik Vinay Gune.
Present, sir. Present, sir.
Right. Sadashiv Gari. Sadashiv Gari. Turn on your video for a while, quickly. Sadashiv. Sadashiv. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, thank you. Sagar Talikeri. Sagar Talikeri.
Yes, sir.
Quickly turn on your video for a while. Sagar. Yes. Sai Prakash. Sai Prakash. Say yes, Sai Prakash. You are present, right? Samir Ahmad Khaji. Samir Ahmad Khaji. Okay.
Present, sir.
Sania Sahib Khan. Sania Sahib Khan.
Present, sir.
Turn on your video for a while.
Present, sir.
Okay, right.
Present, sir.
Fine, fine. Sanjay Ganigir. Sanjay Ganigir. Sanjay. Sankalp Ashtgi Math. Sankalp Ashtgi Math. Sanket Venkatesh Hambar. Sanket Venkatesh
Yes,
Hambar.
sir.
Okay. Shiraj H. Mujawar. Shiraj H. Mujawar.
Present, sir.
Turn on your video for a while, quickly. Okay, right. Right. Shivananda Nagappa Natikar. Shivananda Nagappa Natikar. Present. Shraddha Hunshal. Shraddha is there? Shraddha. Turn on your video for a while quickly. Okay. Video. Turn on your video quickly for a while, for a second. Show your face quickly. Shraddha. Okay, right. Shubham Bekwadkar.
Present, sir.
Right. Sumit D. Gaikwad. Suraya Banu M. Kurundwad. Turn on your video quickly. Video. Okay, right. Tejas Agasar. Vivek Goni. Right. Okay. Yamunappa B. Narsannawar. Gaonkar Rajat Ramchandra. Turn on your video and say yes. Gaonkar Rajat Ramchandra. Manjunath M. Meligeri. Prathamesh Patil. Okay. See here, I found few names such as Jocelyn Miranda. Who is Jocelyn Miranda? Jocelyn
Yes.
Miranda. Shannon Gomes. Who is a Jocelyn Miranda? What is your name, please? Just turn on your video. ಏನಪ್ಪ ನಿನ್ನ ಹೆಸರು? Actual ಹೆಸರು ಏನಪ್ಪ ನಿಂದು? What is your exact name?
Jocelyn Miranda.
You are in the roll call list. I'll just check. I didn't see your name here.
I've joined for lateral admission.
Lateral entry.
Yes, sir.
Hello. But
Yes, sir.
they have not yet given the list to us still.
So they told to attend the classes.
Given the list to us. Huh?
They told to attend the
Yes,
classes.
please. They told to attend the classes.
Yes.
Okay. But they are not informed anything information as such. Shannon Gomes. Who is Shannon Gomes? Just turn on your video. Shannon Gomes. Yes, please. If you have joined, if you are not in the college, you are not allowed, right? You just leave the group. Only if you are in the 3rd semester class of our college, then only you are allowed. Okay, Shannon Gomes. Rohan Rocky. Who is Rohan Rocky?
Yes. Rohan, sir.
What is your name, please?
Rohan, sir. Rohan.
Actual name?
Rohan.
Rohan, right? 1 minute. Rohan is there. Rohan Timsani?
Yes, sir.
You are Rohan Timsani?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Rohan?
Timsani, sir.
Okay, right. Fine. Then no problem. Shannon Gomes, you please leave. Okay, you are not allowed. Where is Shannon Gomes? You just leave the group. Please leave the group, Shannon Gomes. Okay, students. We'll start with the presentation. Students, are you able to see the screen? Students?
Yes, sir.
Are you able to see the screen? Is it the screen clear,
Yes, sir.
visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, right. Okay, fine. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So what we discussed in the last class, students? Any doubts there in the last class? So what were the topics of the last class? We discussed N-type material, right, and P-type material, which are extrinsic materials. When we add the impurity, they are called as extrinsic materials. N-type material is formed by adding the pentavalent atoms. Example that I gave was of antimony, addition of antimony to silicon, right? So that resulted in donation of an atom. So they are called as donor atoms. There was a extra electron present which acted like a free carrier. Then later it was p-type material. P-type material was formed by adding the boron impurity to silicon base material. Boron is trivalent, so this resulted in a vacant space, and hence the p-type material are called as acceptor atoms. They are called as acceptor atoms, right? So p-type material is formed by adding the trivalent atoms to the pure materials. Then we discussed majority and minority carriers. Majority and minority carriers. In p-type material, the majority carriers are holes, minority carriers are electrons. In n-type material, majority carriers are electrons and minority carriers are holes. Correct? Then if in n-type material, if the fifth electron of a donor atom, if it leaves the parent atom, there will be more number of holes, positive ions, right? So we represent plus sign by donor ions in the n-type material. Similarly, in the p-type material, right, we represent the negative symbol by acceptor ions, right? So it's a acceptor, right? If the vacant space is filled by an electron, electrons become more than the holes. So minus sign is indicated by acceptor ions in the p-type material. The semiconductor diode is created by joining an n-type material with p-type material. That is, we are joining a material with majority carrier of electrons to a material with majority carrier of holes. Then there was a discussion on biasing. Biasing is the external voltage that we are applying to the diode. External voltage that we are applying to the diode is called as biasing, right? Initially, we applied no voltage. That is, diode voltage applied was 0 volts. VD equal to 0 volts was applied to the diode across the diode. So when 0 voltage was applied across the diode, there was the combination of the plus and minus charges being deposited, right, on the central portion. So this is called as a depletion region. So because of this depletion region, there was a net movement of charges and net movement of minority carriers, their majority carriers, it resulted in zero current, right? So this was the yesterday's discussion. Then in continuation with the biasing conditions, let us go into the first one of today's class, that is reverse bias condition. Yesterday we discussed no bias condition. Today we will be discussing reverse bias condition. A PN junction is said to be reverse biased. Tell me, students, when the diode is said to be reverse biased? A diode is said to be reverse biased if the positive polarity of the diode is applied to the negative polarity of the voltage, and if the negative polarity of the diode is applied to the positive polarity of the voltage, right? It is said to be reverse biased. A PN junction is said to be reverse biased when the external DC voltage applied to the junction is in such a direction that it increases the potential barrier. That is, in order to reverse bias a PN junction, the negative terminal of battery is connected to P type and positive terminal of battery is connected to N type, right? That is what we call as the reverse bias condition. Due to this reverse bias condition, there is increase in the potential barrier, or there is increase in the depletion region. Okay. Positive ions in the depletion region of the N-type material will increase due to the large number of free electrons drawn to the positive potential of the applied voltage. What is happening here? The positive ions in the depletion region of N-type material, they will be increasing due to large number of free electrons attracted to the positive potential of the applied voltage. Right? If we see this figure here, in this figure, right? So we are reverse biasing. So when we are reverse biasing, the positive polarity of the battery, it attracts the electrons. It attracts the electrons here. So as it is attracting the electrons, okay, therefore it is repelling the holes, or it is repelling the positive ions. So the number of positive ions in the depletion region will increase. And similarly, the negative polarity of the battery here, this negative polarity of the battery is attracting the positive charges or the holes, or it is repelling the negative charges. The number of negative charges in the depletion region will increase. So what is happening here is there is increase in the depletion region width. The width of the depletion region is increasing. The central portion where the depletion region is formed, its width increases due to the reverse passing of the diode. Similarly, number of negative ions will increase in the p-type material. In p-type material, as I told here, there is a repelling of negative ions, whereas attraction of the positive ions. So as the negative ions are repelled by the negative plate of the battery, so more number of electrons are deposited in the central portion. This increases the width of the depletion region. Net effect is widening of depletion region. So what is the net effect here? Net result is the depletion region width is increasing. This widening of the depletion region will establish a barrier for the majority carriers, effectively reducing the majority carrier flow to 0. So as the depletion region width is increasing, it is a barrier for the majority carriers. Correct? So it is acting as a barrier, because of which the majority carrier flow will reduce to almost 0. The current that exists under reverse bias condition is called the reverse saturation current. So what happens to the current that is flowing? The net current will be 0 because of the reverse bias condition, because of the depletion region width, larger depletion region width. Whereas there will be some current due to the minority carriers, right? And that current is called as the reverse saturation current. Current that exists under reverse bias condition is called the reverse saturation current, and it is due to the minority carrier flow. And this is represented by IS. The reverse saturation current is represented by IS. Fine, students? This current is not more than few microamperes. The magnitude of this reverse current or reverse saturation current is in terms of microampere. Saturation indicates that reverse current reaches its maximum level quickly and does not change further with the increase in reverse bias potential. So this saturation reverse current or saturation current, it reaches its maximum value immediately, quickly, and after that it will not increase further and does not change further with increase in reverse bias potential. This is the graph which shows the forward bias condition and reverse bias condition of the diode. As we can see in this graph, in the forward bias condition, there is a voltage called as cut-in voltage, V gamma, cut-in voltage. So what is this cut-in voltage? This cut-in voltage is the voltage at which there is sudden increase in the current in the forward bias condition. There is sudden increase in the current of the diode, the forward bias condition at this particular voltage. This particular voltage is called as the cut-in voltage. And I have represented delta VF, that is change in voltage, and for that change in voltage I have represented change in current, that is delta IF. Okay, this is for the forward bias condition. Similarly, for the reverse bias condition, what is happening? As we are applying the reverse voltage or the negative voltage, right? At some point of the negative voltage, there is sudden rise in the current which goes to saturation, almost saturation. There is exponential rise in the current, saturation current or the reverse saturation current, that is being represented in the graph here in the reverse bias condition. So reverse voltage is represented as VR and the reverse current is represented as IR. As I told, the forward current is in terms of milliampere, so IF is in terms of milliampere, and reverse current or saturation current is in terms of microampere. This represents the forward bias condition. Okay, so in the forward bias condition, what is meant by forward bias condition? Forward bias condition means the positive of the battery is connected to the positive of the diode, negative of the battery is connected to negative of the diode. This is, we are applying positive voltage here. This is called as the forward bias condition. Fine. So in this forward bias condition, let us see what happens here. So when we are applying the forward bias condition, right? So there is attraction of the opposite charge. Okay. So a forward bias on condition is established by applying positive potential to a p-type material and negative potential to n-type material. Application of forward bias potential Vd will pressure electrons in the n-type material and holes in the p-type material to recombine with the ions. That's what I told. There is attraction of the carriers that are present in the depletion region. Right? So when we apply the forward bias potential Vd, this will make the electrons in the n-type material, right, to combine with the holes present. So if we look into this figure here, so this is electrons, what we are saying in the n-type region. These will combine with few of the holes here in the depletion region, and in p side the holes will combine with few of the electrons in the depletion region. So tell me, students, what happens due to the depletion region width here when they combine? So when they combine, the width of the depletion region will decrease. Correct? So the width of the depletion region will decrease, as we are seeing in this figure. The width of the depletion region is reduced. Yes or no? So this reduction in the width of the depletion region will result in increase of current. The diode current increases due to reduction or decrease in the width of the depletion region or the width of the barrier. An electron of n-type material faces a strong attraction for the positive potential applied to the p-type material due to the reduced depletion region. So electron of n-type material, it is being attracted with the positive potential applied to p-type material. So when you are applying positive potential to p-type material, in n-type material, the order of the electrons, right, they are being attracted. There is a strong attraction for the positive potential applied to the p-type material due to the reduced depletion region. So what is happening here? The electrons which are present in the n-type material, they are attracted to the positive potential or the positive side of the battery. Correct? So as applied bias increases in magnitude, depletion region will continue to decrease in width. As we are increasing the magnitude of the bias voltage, the width of the depletion region will decrease. So this will result in a flood of electrons passing through the junction, resulting in exponential rise in current. Due to decrease in size of the barrier, decrease in size of the, that is potential barrier or depletion region width, there will be more number of electrons passing through the junction. Okay, or more number of carriers passing through the junction, which will result in exponential rise in the current. That is, forward current will increase exponentially. Next, Zener region, right? So students, this is the diode symbol, what you are seeing here, anode and cathode, right? So in the front, in the cathode side, it is represented by an inverted Z symbol. It is just like an inverted Z symbol, right? So this normal diode it is having only anode and cathode. There is no, this Z symbol is not present, inverted Z symbol is not present in normal diode symbol. Whereas in Zener diode, this inverted Z symbol is present at the cathode side. Okay. Now let us see the details of this Zener diode. We are applying the voltage in a negative direction. So as we apply the voltage in the forward bias, it is almost similar to that of the normal diode. When we apply the voltage in the negative direction, right, the current will increase, is increasing opposite to that of the plus Vf. Right? Plus Vf is the positive voltage. So this current, when we apply the reverse voltage to the Zener diode, right, it is increasing in the opposite direction to that of Vf. Okay. So when this value of voltage is larger, what will happen? So it is resulting in avalanche of electrons. Avalanche of electrons means there is an ionization process which is taking place. So the electrons, they strike with the neutral atoms, resulting in more number of carriers. Right? So this ionization process continues, As this ionization process continues, there will be avalanche of electrons or multiplication of electrons to a larger extent, to a larger value. So because of this, what is happening is there is sudden rise in the current of the reverse biased Zener diode. Okay. So when we are applying the reverse voltage, when we apply a larger value of reverse voltage, then the Zener diode current will increase to a very larger value. It results in a very high value sudden increase in the current. Okay. This is called as avalanche condition or avalanche state, avalanche breakdown. Okay. Next, if we increase, if the voltage is reduced to a very low value, right? Let us say the voltage is reduced to about -5 volts. There is another mechanism that is happening here. It is called as Zener breakdown. This Zener breakdown occurs because of the strong electric field that is present in the region of the junction. Right? We are decreasing the negative voltage. We are decreasing the voltage to -5 volts, about -5 volts, right? That is, we are decreasing to very low value. So when we decrease the voltage to low value, there is a strong electric field present in the region which disrupts the bonding forces, or it breaks the bonding forces which are present at the junction and generates the carriers. So because of this, what is happening? It is resulting in a condition called as Zener breakdown or Zener breakdown mechanism. Okay. So the Zener region is shown here, right? The region in which there is breaking of the bond present at the junction, resulting in sudden rise of the carriers or sudden increase in the current of the Zener diode. And the region in which this Zener diode operates, this region in which the Zener diode operates is called as the Zener region. The region of this characteristics at which the Zener diode operates is called as the Zener region. The maximum reverse bias potential that can be applied before entering the Zener region is called peak inverse voltage or the peak reverse voltage. Okay. So that is what here. There is a point where the application of too negative a voltage will result in a sharp change in characteristics as shown in the figure here. Current increases at a very rapid rate in a direction opposite to that of the positive voltage region. The reverse bias potential that results in this change in characteristics is called Zener potential and is given by the symbol Vz. As voltage across the diode increases in the reverse bias region, velocity of the minority carriers responsible for reverse saturation current IS will also increase. Yes or no, friends? As voltage across the diode increases in the reverse bias region, the minority carrier, because there is no majority carrier current is not existing, it is a reverse bias condition. So the minority carrier current exists. So this minority carrier current increases as the diode is more and more reverse biased. So the velocity of the minority carriers increase, which result in increase in the reverse saturation current IS. I hope everybody are following here, students. Yes? Everybody are following here, students? Yes, please. Students, are you following here?
Yes,
Students? Okay, fine. Thank you. Yes, thank you. Thank you. So let us continue. Their velocity and associated kinetic energy will be sufficient to release additional carriers through collisions with stable atomic structures. The velocity of these carriers in reverse bias Zener diode condition will increase, their kinetic energy will increase to such an extent that they will collide with stable atomic structures and resulting in ionization process. That is, an ionization process will result whereby valence electrons absorb sufficient energy to leave the parent atom. This is important here. So the ionization process takes place. Because of this, the valence electrons absorb the energy, ionization energy, and they are liberated from the parent atom. They become free carriers. These additional carriers can then aid the ionization process to the point where a high avalanche current is established. This means that these liberated carriers, they further strike with the neutral atoms, again causing the ionization process with the neutral atoms and resulting in avalanche of current or multiplication of current. As Vz decreases to very low levels such as -5 volt, another mechanism called Zener breakdown will occur. It occurs because of strong electric field in the region of the junction that can disrupt the bonding forces within the atom and generate carriers. This sharp change in the characteristics is called the Zener region, and diodes employing this unique portion of the characteristics of a PN junction are called Zener diodes. The maximum reverse bias potential that can be applied before entering the Zener region is called as what? Peak inverse voltage or the peak reverse voltage. Let us see the ideal diode characteristics. What is the characteristics of an ideal diode? Okay. So students, the diode is just like a switch. Diode is just like a switch. Right? When we forward bias the diode, right, there is less depletion width, the current is more, so it is acting like a closed switch. It is acting like a closed switch. Okay. Now, if we reverse bias the diode, then it is acting like a open switch, and because there is no current, flowing, so it is a open switch or no current flowing. So the forward bias condition is represented by, for the ideal diode, the maximum current, so it is overlapping on the y-axis because it is maximum current, high current in the forward bias condition. Switch is closed, right? And when in the reverse bias condition, switch is open, so the current is zero. So it is overlapping with the x-axis. Fine. So this is the characteristics of an ideal diode. Next, DC or static resistance. When we apply DC voltage to a semiconductor diode, right, there is what we establish here, the forward bias condition, that is what being represented in this graph here, forward bias condition of current versus voltage. Okay, and the point what you are seeing on the curve, forward bias condition curve, is the operating point, right? So this operating point is the point on the characteristic curve which does not change with time. Okay, so this is operating point on the characteristic curve that will not change with time. So such a point on the characteristic curve is called as the operating point. It's the intersection of the I versus V, and this will not change with time. Okay. Then we have the resistance. How do we find the resistance, students? Yes, please. So we know I and V. You all have studied Ohm's law, correct? So what is Ohm's law? Ohm's law states that, what is the formula for the Ohm's law here? Let us write the formula of Ohm's law. V is equal to I into R, correct? Or R is equal to V by I. R is equal to V by I. So similarly here also, resistance is given by VD by ID. If you take the ratio of voltage of the diode versus diode current, then we get the resistance. So this resistance is called as the DC resistance. DC resistance. It is called as DC resistance because we are applying DC voltage to the diode. So because of this, the resistance is also called as DC resistance. So R is VD by ID, correct? R is equal to V by I or VD by ID. When does the resistance increase? When the denominator term will decrease. That is when current decreases, the resistance increases because they are inversely proportional to each other. R is equal to VD by ID. So when current decreases, resistance increases. The DC resistance increases. Next, that is what is being explained here. Application of a DC voltage to a circuit containing a semiconductor diode will result in an operating point on the characteristic curve that will not change with time. The resistance of the diode at the operating point can be found by finding levels of VD and ID. That is, equation is RD is equal to VD by ID. In general, higher the current through a diode, lower is the DC resistance level, inversely proportional to each other. AC or dynamic resistance. So let us go through the details of the AC or dynamic resistance. It is called as AC resistance or dynamic resistance because we are applying the input signal, right? Input signal is here what we are applying is in such a way that there is a particular swing which can be seen, AC signal being applied and a particular swing is seen on the curve of the diode, that is followed by diode curve. Okay, so because of this we are having the levels here, so it is being indicated by the ID and VD, the change in current and the change in voltage. Okay, we are considering two values, so change in voltage, and because of which there is change in current, change in voltage to change in current. Correct. So as we took the DC resistance, here also the average AC resistance is given by RAV is equal to, or average resistance is given by delta VD by delta ID. Okay, so this is determined by a straight line drawn between the two intersections which are established by the maximum and minimum values of the input voltage. So if you see the bottom side of the curve, it is minimum voltage. If you see the top side of the curve, it is maximum voltage. Okay, so if you take the minimum and maximum values of the voltage, if you join them with a straight line, okay, and wherever it cuts the curve, okay, that is nothing but the how we are plotting the characteristic curve, or how we are finding the average AC resistance. So that is what I have indicated here. Range of operation voltage delta VD to delta ID. Okay, there is change in the values of voltage, and further that is resulting in causing the change in current. If the resistance is, say, we are finding at ID equal to 2 milliampere, right? If you are finding the resistance, AC resistance at 2 milliampere, so R is V by I, current is less, so resistance is more. Okay. Similarly, if we find the resistance, say, at 17 milliampere, what happens to resistance? Resistance increases or decreases? Current is more, inversely proportional, so resistance decreases. Okay. So here in this particular graph, the average of AC values from 2 milliampere to 17 milliampere are taken. Okay. So this defines a value that is considered as the average of AC values from 2 milliampere to 17 milliampere, and hence the name given to this is, this graph is average or AC resistance graph. Let us move on to the next topic, transition and diffusion capacitance. All of us know what is capacitance, correct? So we know that capacitance is formed by storage of charges on the parallel plates. C is equal to Q by V. So every electronic or electric circuit is frequency sensitive. Every electronic circuit or every electric circuit is sensitive to the frequency. Characteristics of the device will change with frequency. As the frequency changes, the characteristics of the device will also change. Let us see how they change. At low frequencies and small capacitance value, the reactance of a capacitor is high, and it can be considered infinite in magnitude, represented by an open circuit. It means that at lower frequencies, we know that Xc is equal to 1 upon omega C, capacitive reactance. You have studied in your first year level, correct? Xc is equal to 1 upon omega C, or Xc is equal to 1 upon 2 pi Fc. Yes or no? So as the frequency is less, if F is less, it is inversely proportional to reactance. And capacitance is also less. F is less, C is also less. So when both are less, what happens to reactance? Xc, it will be very large. So when reactance is large, it is as good as the resistance, correct? So when reactance is large, it becomes almost infinite in magnitude, and that can be represented by an open circuit. Why? If infinite reactance or if infinite resistance, current will be zero. Current will be zero, right? So it is represented by an open circuit. At high frequencies, the reactance will decrease, and it is causing the short circuit. Okay. So at high frequencies, what will happen? Yes, Xc is equal to 1 upon 2 pi Fc. Correct. So how do you relate, students, here with frequency with reactance here at high frequencies? Tell me, students. What happens at high frequencies? Yes, please, anyone? At high frequency, what happens to reactance? Yes? Come on, anybody answer? Xc is equal to 1 upon 2 pi Fc, right? So what happens to reactance at high frequencies? Yes, please.
Decreases.
Reactance decreases, is it not? Because frequency is more, Xc is equal to 1 upon 2 pi Fc. So when F is more, reactance will automatically decrease. It will obviously decrease. So when reactance is less, it is just like a short circuit. Okay. So in the reverse bias region, transition or depletion region capacitance. In the reverse bias region, what all capacitance we have, that capacitance we call it as transition capacitance or depletion region capacitance, because it is the capacitance formed by the depletion region width in the reverse bias region. In the reverse bias condition, depletion region width is more. Fine. So when depletion region width is more, we know that C is equal to epsilon A by D. C is equal to epsilon A by D. So what is this D? D is the distance or the width. Correct. So when D is increasing, when width is increasing, C will be reduced. C will decrease. Correct. When D increases or the width of the depletion region increases in reverse bias condition, the capacitance decreases because they are inversely proportional to each other. In forward bias region, diffusion or storage capacitance. In forward bias region, we call the capacitance as diffusion capacitance or the storage capacitance. Right, students? In the reverse bias region, there is a depletion region that behaves like an insulator. Yes or no? The depletion region width is more in the reverse bias region. So it is just like an insulator. Current is almost zero. Correct? So it is just like acting like an insulator. Since the depletion width will increase with increased reverse bias potential, transition capacitance will decrease. Increased level of current will result in increased level of diffusion capacitance. So as the current level is increasing, correct, the diffusion capacitance. Okay. So when this diffusion capacitance, we are saying here in forward bias region. Okay, in forward bias region, we have the diffusion or storage capacitance. Okay, so the current is increasing in forward bias region or in the forward bias condition. So as current is increasing, okay, that will result in increase, will result in increased level of diffusion capacitance. More the current, right? More the current, then the capacitance will also increase. More than the amount of charges stored on the plates or on the sides of the diode. Okay, so because of this, the barrier capacitance will increase. Correct. So more the current, more will be the diffusion capacitance. Yes, sir. So that's all for today's session, students. So what all we have discussed in today's session, students? Yes, please. So we started with what topic today? Yes, anyone? Which was the first topic of today's class? Reverse bias condition. Yes or no? Reverse bias condition, right? We saw what happens in the reverse bias condition. There is an increase in depletion width, because of which the current is almost zero. There is a reverse saturation current formed due to movement of minority carriers. Then we discussed forward bias condition. In the forward bias condition, there is combination or joining of the opposite charges at the depletion region, because of it, the width of the depletion region is decreasing, correct? And this results in increase in the current in the forward biased condition. Then we also saw the graph of the forward bias condition and the reverse bias condition. We defined what is cut-in voltage. The cut-in voltage is the one at which there is sudden increase in the current in the forward biased condition. And we also saw what is reverse bias condition and how is this current suddenly increasing in the reverse bias condition. Then later on we discussed Zener diode or the Zener region. So this Zener region is caused due to the strong electric field that breaks the bonding forces or the bonds present at the junction, resulting in large number of carrier generation. So there is a Zener breakdown occurring. This Zener breakdown will result in sudden increase in the current, and the region This particular region at which the diode operates or the Zener diode operates is called as the Zener region. The maximum reverse bias potential that is applied before entering the Zener region is called as peak inverse voltage, also called as peak reverse voltage, PRV or PIV, peak inverse voltage or peak reverse voltage. Okay. So what is the cut-in voltage for the silicon diode, students? Any idea? Cut-in voltage for silicon diode, how much it is? Yes, anybody? Cut-in voltage, forward bias condition for silicon diode. Yes, anyone? 0.7 volts. It is 0.7 volts. For germanium, it is 0.3 volts. And for gallium arsenide, it is 1.2 volts. Right? For germanium, cut-in voltage is 0.3 volts. For silicon, it is 0.7 volts. And for gallium arsenide, it is 1.2 volts. Then we discussed the ideal characteristics of the diode, DC or static resistance. Okay, DC or static resistance where R is a V by I or RD is equal to VD by ID. Then AC or dynamic resistance, that is nothing but the applying of AC signal to the diode and noting down the graph. Okay, so it is the AC resistance or the dynamic resistance. Okay. Then average resistance is nothing but the resistance which is the average value which is taken between 2 points on the curve. Okay, that is called as the average AC resistance. Then finally we discussed transition and diffusion capacitance, where we considered the equations that Xc is equal to 1 upon 2 pi Fc, C is equal to epsilon A by D. Right? By considering these equations, we explained how the capacitance changes with the frequency, right? How the reactance changes with the frequency with the capacitance, and how the current changes with the capacitance, and how the capacitance changes with the width of the depletion region. Okay. So that's all for today's session, students. Right? Then, if any questions from the student side. Any questions from the student side? Hope all of you have understood the today's session. Yes, please. Yes. I hope everybody have understood the today's session. Fine. Any questions?
Yes, sir.
Fine. Any questions?
No, sir.
Yes, please. Any question? Please ask. Yes, and somebody said yes. Any questions? Don't hesitate to ask the questions. If you have any questions, ask the questions and clear your doubts. Any questions here? Hope it is clear, right? Any questions, please? Boys side, any questions? Yes? Any questions? Hope the slides were clear, right? Slides? Yes, students, slides were clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Okay, so then the next class will continue with the clipper circuit. I will be discussing the clipper circuit. Okay, we'll start with the that is the module beginning of the module 1, clippers. Right. So this was all the introductory portion, what was necessary, basic fundamental that was necessary for you all to study this subject. Okay, what all we discussed till today. The next class I will be starting with the clippers, that is the beginning of your first module. Okay, clippers we'll discuss, we'll analyze the circuits, right, various circuits, and then we'll take up few examples on the positive and negative clippers. Right. So with this we will wind up the session here. Thank you, everyone.